So interesting. I was just watching, talking about games, and Abraham has a video on, I kind of mentioned it on his ideas about using a um, solo game system. I was thinking, man, wouldn't it be easier to just to emulate the characters themselves, right? Instead of vice versa. So here we are trying to, um, create a solo experience as if we were dungeon masters wanting to play players, right? But maybe we should be thinking of it the opposite way around, and you know, stay within our um, stay within our realm of being a game master, and have the actual players being emulated. So, and this is why I've got this game out here. This is Freedom in the Galaxy. And the one interesting thing that Freedom of the Galaxy has, which was kind of the beginning that I started seeing in games like for example Arkham Horror and stuff like that, where you're specifically trying to do let's say like a mission or something. So and every time you draw cards, you'll end up in this game, and this is a very old version of this emulation, which you see in Arkham Horror. Is when you draw the action cards on the specific planet, depending where you're at, your location has a different effect. So if you're like in the urban, this will happen. If you're in a special CS, this will happen. If you're in the wild, and you're also cross-referencing, like for this gathering information. So you're looking for that letter I, but that has to show up in the location that you are searching in order for that to happen. So if I'm gathering information, which is I, if I was in the wild, I would have this coop mission, because this pertains to doing something that would pertain to a coup or something like that, right? But these multiple different actions can also be used in building kind of like a behavior template card system for characters. So if you want to emulate a character that is, say, like a fighter type, so the fighter type will have certain archetype kind of behaviors to him, which you can select from different cards. So you'll have a certain group of behaviors selected from one deck, and then another section of behaviors selected from a different deck, and another, and each one will be kind of like, whether or not he's a brave fighter or a cunning fighter or something like that. So each archetype of character would tell you to select 3 cards from the first deck randomly, and then 2 from the more of the sneaky cunning off the like sneaky cunning deck, right? And then maybe a couple off of maybe he's not very social, so that you only have one social kind of card, random card in there too, or something like that. And each card will have a random thing, maybe pertaining to a social event, tactical event, or or some sort of trying to figure out a trap or something, like analytical event. So every time something happens, you select one. Say that they have about a dozen cards each. So you would each character would have their own separate deck of cards in each pile for each character. Say we had this character, and this character, and we had a separate pile of different cards put together for this archetype, for this character, several bunch of cards for this type, for this character, several bunch of cards selected randomly for this character as well. And then as they're going through each room and encountering certain things, like a possible trap's going to go off or something like that, then you would start drawing cards and seeing what their reaction would be according to the situation, like every round or something like that. So the first round, you know, like this character who's more inclined to analyzing things might be able to get them out of the trap, you know, by pulling actions that would definitely help in that situation. Where this fighter type, for example, would be drawing cards and more or less confused in that kind of a sense. But you never know, there might be some surprising cards in there. But as you're drawing through the cards and recycling them, you'll notice that there's a certain kind of behavioral pattern that each one will be kind of unique to each character. So I do have the card creator on Steam, so I'm thinking maybe with a little bit of you know, finagling together and some trial and error, maybe I can come up with a set of cards that will work that way. Huh. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I go ahead and try this? I mean, I'm apt to seeing whether or not I can get a project like that together. I do have a little bit of time to put my artistic talents to play there, and maybe I'll come up with something that would be something I could, you know, maybe upload to DriveThruRPG or something like that. I don't know. You know, what do you guys think? You think this has some kind of a merit or promise, or did you need like a little bit more deeper explanation on what I'm trying to do? Maybe I can get together like a prototype and see how that works. Maybe I can get this going. Maybe it'd be a good idea. Maybe it's a terrible idea. But you know, it is kind of more of an interesting way to run a solo dungeon. Well, let me know anyways. And if you feel like it, subscribe.